Good morning, everybody. And first of all, I am K. Sonikumar Singh, Assistant Director, Press Information Bureau, Kohima. And today, we are organizing this one-day media workshop, Vartalap, in connection with the upcoming election. And first of all, I would like to welcome our respected Sir, Shri Shashank Shekhar, IAS, Chief Electoral Officer, Government of Nagaland, uh, for attending today's program as the chief guest. And again, I also would like to welcome Shri Shanavas, IAS, Deputy Commissioner, Kohima, for uh, attending our program. And after that, I welcome the two resource persons who will be coming in the later half of the program for their readiness to attend and share their knowledge on this election thing. And after that, I would like to thank members of the KPC, Kohima Press Club, then the Directorate of Information and Technology, Government of Nagaland, and then I would like to thank All India Radio for attending this program, and also Doordarshan Kendra, Kohima, for attending this very important programs, and all other members of the print and electronic media for coming and attending this very important workshop.
Respected friends from the press, radio, very good morning, all of you. I feel, on a personal note, that it is the best time to have a program like this since the elections are just announced 2-3 days back. So, as we all know, Nagaland is going on poll 27th of February, and we are expecting to have the counting on 2nd of March. This is my 10th year in Nagaland as a civil servant. And the very first year I joined, 2013-14, as a probationary in Tuensang, we had the parliament elections of 2014 happening. And I was in charge of this activity called SVEEP. I'm sure we all know what is the full form of SVEEP, that is Systematic Voters Education and Electoral Participation. India is a democratic country, whether we like it or not. And all the states in India, we have our elections in different years, different times. But the scenarios in different states are very, very different. You have states like Kashmir, where the government tries their best to have the voting percentage go maybe 45% or 50% ago, because people don't come out to vote. The reason could be the security reasons or anything. And on the other hand, we have states like Nagaland, where the voting percentage is too high. And it's one way, it's heartening to see our citizens come forward and participate in the electoral process. On the other hand, we also doubt our conscience that are we going ahead with a free and fair election. Every time elections happen, we do think that we do advocate for free and fair elections. And that kind of a nara, you say nara in Hindi, it's like a slogan. You keep telling each and every day, free and fair election. But what exactly is free and fair election? Free and fair election is not only the absence of any law and order issues. If you don't have any law and order issues happening in the state, but at the same time, people are not exercising their franchisee to vote by themselves on their own will and conscience, then it's not free and fair. The free and fair elections happen only when the voters of our country, of our state, they come forward on their own will. Eligible voters, they come and vote based on their conscience without any influence of liquor, money, or anything. We all are in Nagaland, or we all do work in Nagaland. So there is no point in just saying that everything is like 100% perfect in Nagaland, because we know that it's not true. So I think it's high time we introspect and we think for ourselves what exactly is going wrong and who to blame. Whether the blame should come to the government, which I and Sir are also part of, or the blame should go to the people, or the blame should go to the politicians. But in my opinion, it's a collective responsibility. Some of the experiences I'll share during my elections in the previous years. In 2014, when I was a sector magistrate in Tuensang town, I went to a polling station. So the colony people, they like very confidently and happily, they're coming to me with a letter that they have decided to do a family voting. They have decided that only the household will vote for all the people. This is reality, I'm not exaggerating. Because for them it's very normal. But how did it become normal for them? Because we made it normal for them. When it was happening, we didn't stop, we didn't advise, we didn't tell them that it's wrong.
As you all know, the elections for the Nagaland Assembly have been announced on the 18th. So before that also and after that also, the whole election machinery, state level, CEO's office, district level, DCs, DEOs, the entire election machinery has been extremely busy and becomes even more so after the announcement of elections. The model code comes into effect. There are many related activities which start. So we had a press conference where I was there, CEO office, other officials were there on 19th. Some of our media friends were there also. So I'm happy to be interacting with the media representatives again. I would have liked to make a more structured speech or address, but as I mentioned, especially after the announcement, so many things come up that I could only write down some thoughts, some points which I would like to share with you. So my apologies if it doesn't look very consistent or very structured. We don't have to emphasize, we all know the importance of media in a democracy. It is often called the fourth pillar, our DC also mentioned. There's legislature, there is executive, the judiciary, and then the media. My own experience with media in Nagaland has been very positive, and I appreciate the very positive role they have played, not only in elections, coverage of elections, but overall, whenever we have interacted over the years, my own experience as CEO also, and also in other departments, whenever we have wanted any positive work taken up at various levels, that has been covered very well by the media. So the SVEEP program, Systematic Voters Education and Electoral Participation, when the villages pass a resolution like this, obviously there is a concern that these kinds of things are happening in society. That's why a resolution has happened, isn't it? We all know that. DC Kohima also shared some of his experience. So all of us have to come together and see how best, when we say elections, it's a huge logistical exercise. As I had mentioned, you all know 13,17,632 voters registered as of now, 2,315 polling booths. So we have to mobilize polling parties, they have to take EVM, VVPAT machine, even to the remotest polling booth. And our endeavor is to ensure that every single voter who wants to cast his vote should be able to cast his vote. There are special arrangements, facilities provided to people with disabilities, elderly people. 80 plus voters, age 80 plus voters are given this option of voting from their homes. So our entire team with security goes to their residence and takes their vote. Similarly, persons with disability beyond a certain benchmark, if they are having very severe disability, again, the commission through our district machinery provides this facility that they can vote from their homes also. And if they come to the polling booth, they are provided volunteers to support them, ramps, and any other kind of support which they may require. So when this whole endeavor is that everyone should participate and cast his vote, then this issue of free and fair election comes up. That's why the commission is also very particular in every state, free and fair election. So what vitiates a free and fair election? You can all share your thoughts, your experiences. In the coming days, I'm sure this is not the last interaction. This is not the first and will not be the last. Over the coming days, we'll keep interacting. So what constitutes a free and fair election? And if there is inducement of voters, or if there is, I hope it will not happen, but if there is violence. Recently also we saw in a village some incident happen. We really hope such incidents do not happen. or if there is intimidation of voters, which again we hope don't happen. So from the government side, enforcement side, whatever possible, a lot of measures are done by the commission, state machinery, state police, central police. You all know 305 companies of central armed police are to be stationed for the election. 75 companies have already come in advance. The whole state machinery for the elections is under the deputation to the election commission. So the entire law and order machinery is geared up for the election. So our state police is also proactively involved. Excise department is involved in checking. Central agencies have been involved by the commission, income tax, enforcement directorate, DRI, to check that no misuse of cash or liquor or any kind of inducement for voters. That is from the government machinery side. So it will be complemented only if the society, voters, citizens, other stakeholders, political parties, media, we all come together and provide the required information to the enforcement agencies. Then they can act promptly. The commission many years back, you must be aware, has even introduced the C-Vigil app, Citizens Vigil, where the citizens can take photos, videos real time, and they can send it to the administrative machinery, and the flying squads are duty bound to respond immediately to those complaints as they are received. So it's only when both sides, everyone, not only the government, but all the stakeholders come together, then only we can hope for a free and fair election. My own experience in Nagaland, I'm just sharing, you tell me if I'm wrong. I feel that the society in Nagaland is inherently democratic. Many years back, when I just joined service, one of our very senior officers had said, and he had written somewhere, that if you go to a village, and if there's a village meeting going on, even if economically that villager may not be very well off, even if he's the poorest in the village, in that meeting he has the confidence, he has been given the space that he can stand up and express his opinion very freely and frankly. Is that right or not? So that kind of equality is there, that kind of space for others' opinion. I've seen it again and again in society, that space is given to others to express their opinion. So I only hope that inherent democratic tradition is also manifested in our formal system of democracy where people come out to vote. So if inducements are there, if obstruction of voters in any way is there, then I'm sure you all agree that that spirit of democracy, that true spirit of democracy is certainly not there if that happens. And I really hope it doesn't happen. We all have to endeavor that we really practice the true spirit of democracy. So many things to be said, but as I said, this is not the last interaction. I really hope you have a very constructive interaction in the workshop, technical sessions. One of our officers, Joint CEO, is also there as a resource person. From the IPR department also, a resource person will be there. As I close, in the elections, we very closely associate with the media, and this interaction will continue through the PIB, through IPR, and directly by the election machinery at various levels, from the CEO at the state level, my officers, myself, the district election officers, their machinery. We'll all be involved in the elections, and we'll all be very regularly interacting with you. You know there are mechanisms. One of the IPR officers is full-time attached with our department. We have a nodal officer for media. And I am also available, as I said, regularly, either through press conferences or workshops like these, or through press releases, or directly also many of you do get in touch with us. Sometimes WhatsApp groups are also formed. So all those mechanisms will be there where we'll be freely sharing information, whatever is available with us, with you. And you also will be, I'm sure, sharing any concerns which you have, anything which you observe, which can help us in a better conduct of elections, in a more free and fair conduct of elections. So we also welcome information from the media, as I said, towards this end, towards our ability to conduct a free and fair election, to strengthen that mechanism. If you give us any information, if you find anything where corrective action needs to be taken, if you get any, because media also, we know you interact with various sections of society at all levels, so you also have a lot of information, which can be very useful for the government and for the election machinery, as I said, to strengthen the system. For example, if you get information that anywhere attempts are being made to induce voters or to intimidate voters, as I said, I hope it doesn't happen, but if you get such information, then certainly you please pass it on to us, and our entire election machinery will certainly take corrective measures. With these words, I again appreciate the very constructive role which media I have personally seen has played over the years in Nagaland, and I really hope that the same constructive engagement and constructive.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Respected dignitaries on the dais. Now, it is a great privilege for me to extend a warm and sincere thanks on behalf of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and all of us here today to our chief guest, Shri V. Shashank Shekhar, the Chief Electoral Officer of Nagaland, for his stimulating and very timely remarks and for his gracious presence. He has long demonstrated his commitment towards better administration and towards an efficient electoral process. And his remarks show the scope of his thinking towards a free, fair, and successful electoral process in the state. Thank you, sir, for making time to be with us today. I also extend my sincere thanks to the guest of honor, Shri Shanavas, the Deputy Commissioner of Kohima. We are truly honored to have you here in our midst. We thank you for sharing your valuable experiences and your inspiring address. I also thank the Department of Information and Public Relations, the Election Department, DDK Kohima, AIR Kohima for their kind support and participation in today's workshop. I also thank both the learned resource person, Madam Masangla, Joint Director of DIPR, and Madam Sharon Longchari, Joint CEO, who will be joining us in a short while. I must mention my deep appreciation to the Kohima Press Club and the Directorate of Information and Public Relations for partnering with us, for hand-holding us in organizing this Vartalap and giving us the opportunity to share this platform of interaction and knowledge sharing. I also thank all the my distinguished media friends representing different media organizations who have joined us today. We are very privileged and honored to see some very respected names in the field of media. And we also greatly encouraged to see many young and brilliant journalists. We thank you all for your active involvement and constant support. Friends, all of your gracious presence have greatly enhanced the importance of this event. Once again, thank you all.
Yeah, and again, I welcome all our friends to the technical session. And first, I would like to request Madam Asangla Imsong, Joint Secretary, DIPR, Government of Nagaland. Her topic will be checking misinformation, especially in social media during elections. Please, ma'am.
To all of you, the journalists and writers. A study recently has found out that, very surprisingly, 80% of journalists have one time or the other come under the banner of providing misinformation. Because as a writer, as a journalist, you are also trying to source your story by doing some research. Okay, if the research is not done in a proper way, then you are also very unlike me, you are writing, so like you are also in a very vulnerable position to be misinformed. Okay, so surprisingly, it is said that 80% of journalists have fallen for misinformation online. They have read some fake news, so they have also become a victim of spreading fake news. So that is why, as a journalist and as a media outlet, okay, it's very important that the information that you are providing to the people is true, okay, is true, it is factual, and then you also do all kinds of research in the right way so that only the truth comes out from your side. Then, and then another study has shown that our elder generation is the most responsible group. Our elders are the most, common to spread false information. Not the Gen Z, as they say, born between 1996 to present, but people born earlier than that, our mothers, aunties, maybe including many of us, we are the fastest way, it seems, in the society to spread misinformation because, especially have you noticed that our neighbors or Mustiwalas and all, they're always on Facebook these days, especially mothers, or YouTube. I've come across a lot of mother types who are not very conversant with WhatsApp maybe, but they will get thousands and thousands of information videos about what happened where, and they will be discussing in the neighborhood in the like that, no? So then when I was just going through this. Some research papers for this for today's presentation, then I also realized that's so true because I'm also surrounded by some people in the in the vicinity where in the morning they say, "Punishna bananai, kali nila hushi we video game by there is a topic of discussion." So there is a very fast way of spreading. I mean, not exactly fake news, but some are fake and some are exaggerated news, and they are the ones who are they are more vulnerable to spread it. Okay, unlike the younger generation, all of you, which you will think, "Yes, did it really happen? Is it like that?" So you may keep to yourself, but our mothers, aunties, and all will be talking about it in the neighborhood and share, and then the damage is done. So like that. So all said and done, the internet is just open and fake news is out there, misinformation is there. So the only thing what we can do is spread the truth. How that is you know better. Okay, so the only thing that what we can do now is spread the truth. And not even in India, but all over the world, uh, there's certain set of rules to govern the social media. All these things have not really been formulated. Even in India also, we have the information technology rules and all that, but the social medium is changing so fast that the government is not able to regulate norms and all that. They always say, I come across papers where they always say that everybody on social media should also follow the guidelines of the Press Council of India, that you should not spread fake news, you should not do this, that. But then again, that's not the end also. We need to do a lot of things which are still to happen, but like I said, spread the truth, and I will just leave it open like this because, like, I cannot say that if we do this, then this will stop because it's an evolving subject. So I would also want to learn from your side as a writer. What do you think? Because for me, I think I will just stop there without giving you a definite thing that you have to do like this. Then only the fake news will stop. We cannot do that. But as responsible citizens, especially at least I think fake news and all is not very common in Nagaland. We have some this thing. And as far as election is concerned, one thing which I've noticed in our society is we have a sense of brotherhood among all of us. So even if I'm so much against my opposition party, I will not be spreading malicious lies about him. At least then I think about our Nagas, but it is not the thing even in India. So as elections are coming, we have an election, we have the MCMC also, media monitoring this thing. I remember I was a member of MCMC in the last election, and 2 or 3 cases had come. I think if we check the file, it will be there. 2 or 3 cases in social media, like some Mustiwalas who are enemies. They had spread some lies about 1 or 2, like that. No? 1 or 2 cases had come, but apart from that, there was nothing. And then some cases of fake news and all, of course, which is another topic, of course. But I remember in the last election, there were 1 or 2 cases, something like that, which we had taken up. But hopefully, I don't know, because today's position is also in a very precarious, atmosphere, as I can say. So I will just stop there for today. If you have any questions or if you also want to share anything, you're most common. You're most welcome. I think as far as social media misinformation is concerned, it would be, if we discuss, it will take the whole day. If we discuss, it will take the whole day. But like I said, responsibility starts with you and me, so it ends, so we can stop there for today. But it's a very evolving topic, and this will just continue. And as a journalist, you know that some of you are from print media, some of you are from electronic and digital media. So, especially for those who are working in the digital and electronic media, we have visuals, So, we have to be very responsible as journalists and educate our people also that, misinformation should not be encouraged. Like I said, mostly misinformations and rumors will come from the postiwalas and all those kind of setups. So as responsible citizens, it's our as journalists, it's our duty to disband those kind of rumors and propagate truth. I would say that thing.
Why paid news we consider as a very serious electoral malpractice is because there are three dimensions to the violation of paid news. One is viewers. Viewers get affected. The viewers do not get a correct picture of the candidate, right? So it kind of affects his judgment on who he is voting for. The second is the contesting candidate himself, in the sense that the candidate, he's not disclosing the amount that he has spent on paid news, and by doing that he is violating the conduct of election rules 1961 by the Election Commission under the RP Act of 1951. And the other offender are the news agencies themselves, because they are not showing the amount received for carrying this kind of news, and therefore they are violating the Companies Act 1959 as well as the Income Tax Act of 1961. So when it comes to the guidelines on the do's and don'ts of election, the thing about the electoral process is that we work under very stringent frameworks as set by the ECI. So when it comes to the do's and don'ts of the media also, there's nothing more that I cannot add to it, I cannot exaggerate, I cannot embellish beyond what is written. So even for the media, when it comes to the media, there are certain guidelines set, and in many of their letters, in many of their guidelines, they have made references to this, the guidelines issued by the Press Council of India, the norms of journalistic conduct 2020, and the guidelines of election broadcast by NBSC, now NBDA, and the NBSC News Broadcasting Standards Authority, and now it's known as the News Broadcasters and Digital Association. So these are the three guidelines that ECI makes reference to follow during the election process. And for me, when I was wondering what can I present to this during this session, I realized that I cannot really go beyond what is given within the frameworks of the ECI. So if I go through all the guidelines, it will be a very lengthy and boring session. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to make a gist of some of the guidelines, and like I said earlier, we'll treat this as a revision. We'll just quickly go through some of these guidelines, and we'll take some questions after.